I've got here the three main Canyon mountain bikes. Spectral, carbon, Spectral on, Strive on, and I've also got the Neuron on, which I've just been test riding, which is great fun if you're undecided about which bike to buy. And the other thing I wanted to talk about was battery placement, quite a few questions about that. 30-something degrees. Farmers making noise. It's out of control. Let's go through the bikes quickly and give you a bit of an idea of my experience on each one. Strive on for enduro riding, extreme fun. It's one of my favorites. I think it is my favorite. Definitely fits the category well. You've got an amazing body position uphill and downhill. It's fast into corners, fast out of corners. It takes the big hits, it launches, it's stable, it's long enough, it's got everything you might need, and it's the latest geometry on the market. So for me, it's one of the top enduro electric mountain bikes on the market at the moment. Now the Neuron, basically, this thing is a trail king. It's exceptional value for money. The same front geometry as the Spectral on, which is hidden behind. Yeah, it's very poppy, it's very fun. And the biggest thing that hits you when you're riding it is, wow, it doesn't cost the earth. And it's not the most expensive bike on the market, but it's so modern. It just feels like a bike that you can almost do what you can do on this. Not quite, but you can at least ride down those trails. But it's the fun factor that you can't beat. You know, fun factor is everything in e-bikes. Now the Spectral on CFR, this is your do-it-all bike. This will do most of the things you can do on this, but not the extreme, and it will ride similar to that. It is a little bit more aggressive because it's got more travel. The big thing about this bike is the battery. It's got a 900 watt-hour battery, and that, at the end of the day, you can go really far with this bike. I have still never managed to flatten this battery in the time I've had on it. An amazing build setup, and it's one of their high-end bikes, this one. It's got the XTR on it. There's a few minor changes to the motor with the EP801. So these two are Bosch though. And there's been a lot of questions coming up, and we've done quite a lot of reviews on this, so you can watch those on the channel. You'll find the link in the description for the review of this bike. Now, a lot of people have been asking me about the Bosch motor system and the battery, and honestly, these two together, and almost, I would say, these two bikes could be your ideal quiver, where you would have both bikes available for use. If you want to go for an easy-going trail ride, you take this one. You want to go for a hardcore enduro plunge, you go for this one. On this bike, you can change the battery or remove it for charging. On the Neuron on, you can't. Some people want to see this, so I'm going to show you how that works. So I'll take the battery cover off and we can have a quick look. Bring the camera. Hello, camera. To remove the battery on this, it's very easy. There's one bolt here on the cover. You basically undo that. It's a 5mm, a downwards motion like that, because it's got some nifty Canyon style bolt holders. You take your 750 watt-hour battery, catch on the bottom, so you just slide that in there. There you go, goes into position. To put the cover on, you push the back on and you slide it on like that. There you go. To put on, right, let's move that out of the way. Now, I've been shown this, I've been asked about this quite a few times, and I thought the best way to show you is actually to try and take the back cover off, like over, able to see where it goes. That's the cover. If you look on that, so in we go with the 4. These two bolts come out, and that's the motor. Now, as you can see, that's the Bosch motor. This has also got the new system on it for tracking. I'm going to do a whole video on that to show you. The battery will not come out unless removed. So it's permanently fixed in there. And if you look from the side profile, you see it won't come out. But they've done that to keep the motor low profile. Again, if you have a look here, you see the battery sits there kind of in line with the motor, so it doesn't come out. But that's okay. I mean, at the end of the day, again, with a 750 watt-hour battery, I would find it really difficult to flatten it unless you're really going hard. Bosch do supply a bottle battery, which you can plug in, which takes up to 1 kilowatt. I don't know why you would need to take the battery out necessarily. Maybe if for charging purposes you want to charge it in your house, that cover back on. So spec for spec, which of these two bikes, which are the latest ones in the range, which I think are important for the mass market really, it's hard to say which one of these is the better of the bike. They're both good, all the bases covered. Because it's very easy to get lost and confused inside all the spec sheets and the geometry charts, but at the end of the day, if you're a rider that rides a lot, and you want something where you can do everything from enduro, mega avalanche, you want to be able to do trail riding locally, then I would personally go for the Strive. But you were somebody who wants to ride your mountain bike, have fun, ride with your friends, local trails, not going to go too crazy, maybe go on holiday with a car somewhere, bring the bike, explore the local trails, then I would probably go for this one. If you want to do a little bit harder riding with this bike, put some slightly more aggressive tyres on it. Apart from that, it's absolutely fantastic. This bike, value for money wise, is excellent. I would definitely consider this when looking for or thinking about a bike. I would go as far as to say is it's one of my favourite bikes on the market. It's got an XT spec on it, brakes and shifting, which honestly is really good. You have a look at it close up. It's one of those bikes that's just got everything you might need to have fun. The remote works here, the Bosch, you can turn it on and off. You can sync it with your phone, you can tune the motor now with the Bosch Flow app. You've got 12-speed Shimano XT on the back, 750 watt hour battery, we've got a 34 on the front. So this is where this bike is not as good as this one. This has a 38, this has a 34. That means that this can take harder, faster impacts than this. We have a quick look at the Spectral, which is hiding behind here. That has a 36 on it. So essentially what we're talking about is the three different use cases for that fork, which at the end of the day, I think we should be grateful to Canyon for having the three different variants available like that in three different bike forms. And really, there's such a broad appeal for a market base for these three bike variants. An impressive quiver to have on test together, because you can really see the three bikes back to back and how they compare. And I couldn't recommend enough all three of these bikes, whichever variant you're interested in. For more information on which bike you're interested in the variant, we're going to do a video where we ride the same trail on each bike and compare the difference, and live in the saddle, let's say. We'll be doing that next week, hopefully. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you've got any questions in the meantime, write a comment below, and we'll see you on the next video when we get a bit more in depth, actually riding these three bikes back to back.